Was there a particular moment where you thought, I'm going to write this book?
Yes, that moment was definitely when I was around the table with some colleagues and we were discussing stop and search, which is something that is regularly debated within the media. And I was just sharing my experiences. And I remember everyone around the table not actually realizing that I had experienced it so much. And then I gave an example of one evening going to 10 Downing Street, meeting the Prime Minister, being rewarded for my activism work. And a few days later, ending up in the back of a police van because I fit a description. And it was at that point we actually had a debate and everyone was really horrified that I had to experience this. But to me, it was normal. It was something that happened to me and my friends. So it was at that point I realized that my reality or certain people's realities can be seen as a complete nightmare to someone who wouldn't have lived within those experiences. And that was the moment why I decided to write this book.
Which Prime Minister did you meet, Jeremiah?
David Cameron.
Okay. Do you think he understood what your life was like? You said those people around the table had no idea of your reality. Do you think the PM at the time understood that nightmare that you were living in?
I think many people don't really understand a lot of the issues that are currently happening within the country. Maybe it may be due to not enough conversations happening. Maybe it's not being highlighted in the media. This book for me was really a rallying cry and an opportunity to connect with young people up and down the country who could, share their experiences and stories of inequalities within education, within the justice system. But what was really important for me within this book was not only to have the discussions, but really to talk about solutions and what we can do to become a more equal society.
Well, exactly, Jeremiah. It's in the title, what can we do about it?
Definitely. That was really, really important for me. Especially during this pandemic, we've seen so many forms of inequality, being brought to the public light. We saw everything around the free school meals. Amazing organizations and individuals like Marcus Rashford really had to campaign for the government to make a U-turn on their decision on the matter. We've seen issues such as digital inequality. Not long ago, I heard of a story of a family of four and a mother who was working from home and her three kids were studying from home and they had to share an iPhone in between them. And these are real instances that are affecting families up and down the country. And it's all about having a conversation. I don't blame anyone if they don't really understand some of these issues, but those in positions of power really need to take responsibility in tackling inequality within the UK.
And do you think your book can be the catalyst for that?
I definitely hope so. For me, I poured my heart out. I shared my life story from beginning till now and really drew on my personal, very intimate experiences to really draw examples of what we can do to create change within this country.
Jeremiah, you said that when you were growing up, you were quite literally dreaming in a nightmare. If you could speak to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself?
The advice that I would give my younger self is to continue pushing, but also to let my younger self know that along the way, there's several different barriers. Growing up, I had to experience several instances of prejudice. I definitely had loads of opportunities taken away from me. So my message to my younger self would be to continue going.